So I'm Cheyenne Martin. If you've never been here before, I'm the program manager for the South Texas Community Health Worker Workforce Preparedness Collaborative, and we aim to extend and expand and enhance the community health workforce across South Texas. Believe it or not, there are rural communities that do not have a single community health worker, and so we really want to make sure that community health workers are in every county of South Texas and really helping the marginalized populations there thrive. And then we want you to thrive in the workforce, whether you're working or volunteering or still looking for opportunities. And so this entire professional development series is to build your soft skills. 2 months ago, we started this series, an employment readiness series, with how to get that interview. This is part 2 of employment readiness, and it's on interviewing skills. Very excited that Miss Belle Flores from the South Coastal Area Health Education Center is with us today. I don't hit the survey yet. I'll flash this screen again at the end for you to take the survey. And so if you are a CHW, you get 1 certified CEU for attending today. And then after I turn over to Belle, close this out with what we're looking at in the next 6 to 7 months. So Miss Belle, are you there? Oh, I got to give you screen sharing permission. 1 second. All right, you should be good to go.
Perfect, thank you. So welcome everyone. My name is Belinda Flores, and I want to thank you for taking the time to go through this series with us. And if this is your first time, welcome. And if you've been with us for the ones before, we want to thank you for continuing to be part of this group. So for those of you that just became CHWs, congratulations, everyone. Thank you for everything that you do. We really appreciate you. I'm going to, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Belinda Flores. I go by Belle, and I'm the director of South Coastal AHEC, also the director for our training center here in with the UT Health Science Center in San Antonio, part of the AHEC. Our center is the training center for our area. So from San Antonio down, we have the training center here. And for those of you that have taken our course, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So I want to thank Shay for the opportunity, and Jason also for being part of this grant. We're really grateful that we're able to grow our CHW workforce. That's very needed because CHWs, community health workers, bridge that gap for many individuals that don't have access to healthcare. So we provide resources and different avenues for them to get screenings and education about the importance of being proactive with our health. So part of that grant is this series of webinars, if you will, for community health workers. So I am doing the second part of employment. And so the first one was on application on applying for jobs. I want to say, and mine is the interview. So I want to thank Ronnie for doing her first part, and now I will continue. So with that being said, are there any questions or any comments at this time? Thank you. I'm going to share my screen. Please feel free to interrupt me at any time. I do have 2 computers, so you may be hearing me out of one and seeing me out of another. That's because I want to be able to see you guys and see my PowerPoint. So let me make sure that I see everybody. Okay. And I'm gonna put this down. So can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. There you go.
Cool.
So my presentation today is on interviewing techniques. And when you get your CE certificate, it should be in communication skills. You're going to get an hour of communication skills, DSHS certified CE hour. So interviewing techniques. Our objectives will be to review just the application process because it's been a couple of months since we did how to apply for a job, and then understanding the interview process, preparing for an interview, and then developing interview skills. So the application process, like I was saying, it's just a review from last time. The application, when you see an application, you determine whether you are qualified for the job, if you're going to fill it out. So if you're like, yeah, I think this is something I want to do, I'm going to fill out the application, keeping in mind that many applications have a deadline. So making sure that we are turning in that application on time, and then maybe attaching a resume or a portfolio. Some call it a CV, so that kind of thing. And then they will ask for a letter of recommendation or references, so you want to include that. So you have applied for the job. This is the job you want to do. You're going to apply for the job. Now we're going to prepare for the interview. Preparing for the interview is what we're going to focus on today. I do want to mention before moving on that many applications now are online. Before, you may download the paper application, you would fill it out and submit it, or you'd go to a job, to a different location to fill out an application, that kind of thing. There's still job fairs where you'll fill out applications, but many applications now are online. One of the things to keep in mind when you're filling out an application is the application tracking systems that many times these application systems have in place. And that they call it ATS. ATS looks for specific words when you're applying to see if you're qualified. So you want to be very aware of the job that you're applying for and making sure that you're putting in those words that you think that agency is looking for, because if not, your application doesn't even get reviewed. So make sure that let's say you're applying for a plumber's job, for example, they're going to look for things that plumbers do. So making sure that you're able to do that. I know how to fix a toilet or whatever the case may be, but you want to put in those words that you think that would apply to that job, because if not, it's not even going to, they're not going to review your application. So there is a system in place that many applications that are online have that will trigger that, oh, this is a good applicant, or we're not even going to look at this application. So keeping that in mind. So moving forward, your interview. So they have reviewed your application. You have gotten an interview. They want to have you come over. Maybe it's in person, maybe it's online, whatever the case may be. The main thing you want to do when preparing for your interview is getting ready, right? Being mentally ready. Is this what I want to do? Maybe the night before, prayer, meditation, getting a good night's sleep, maybe relaxing. Maybe if you want to watch your favorite movie the day before, you want to listen to music, you want to be positive, be in a very positive state, maybe exercise, go for a walk, go for a run, that kind of thing. But you want to have everything ready. What am I going to wear? Maybe I want to straighten my hair or whatever the case may be the day before, so that you're not rushed that morning, so that you don't feel like, oh my gosh, because it's stressful enough that you're going to go for an interview. So you want to put your best foot forward. So you want to be ready. It's all about getting things ready. Am I going to have to drop off the kids somewhere? It's summer, or if it was at school, so that you can get to your interview on time. Is somebody going to help me with that? I'm going to, make sure that my pet goes out if they need to go out, whatever the case may be. But you want to prepare for that next day, the day before. You want to be ready. You've gotten notified that, we want to see you. Let's say we want to see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, at 8:30. You want to be ready. So again, you want to keep your stress level as minimal as possible. You're already stressed out because of the interview, so let's have everything ready so that that day we don't add to the stress of the interview. The other thing is you want to already practice questions. You want to review your resume, make sure that everything that's on your resume you have answers to, because they may want to ask you, well, I see that you have a break where you didn't work, what happened? Being prepared with those answers. You want to again do everything you can to prepare for that day, to prepare for the interview. What do I need to get out of the way? Now, and those of you that have taken my class have heard this before, so I'm going to mention it again. If you're one of these people that always arrives late, always running late, that was yesterday. As of today, you're going to rearrange things so that you can be on time. You want to be on time. For an interview, especially for an interview, you want to be there early so that you have a few minutes just to relax, just to center yourself, to be ready. Again, doing everything you have to do prior to that interview so it keeps that stress level down. So the interview, what is the interview? An interview is just exchange of information between two individuals with a common goal. You want to get the job, they want to hire somebody. So everyone has that common goal. It's getting that job filled, right? So the interview, it's just that exchange of relevant information to see if this is a fit for you and you're a fit for them. So there's all kinds of interviews, right? There's employer, employee, college student, maybe that is applying for college. The admissions office is going to interview them, or someone's going to interview them. You're filling out your application. Maybe for an organization, you want to apply. You want to be part of a group in your city, that kind of thing. When we go to the doctor, that's also an interview, right? Your history, tell me about you. What's your family history? So it's also an interview. Surveys, as community health workers, many times we're going to do different surveys. Maybe an organization asks us, will you help us, complete these surveys about what's, going on, or whatever the case may be. So to do research studies, that kind of thing. And then there's other interviews, right? Maybe celebrity or political, things like that. So different types of interviews. But for the interview for today, we're going to talk about employer-employee, the hiring or the promotion decisions of for the reason for the interview. So not all jobs require interviews. Some you have to take an exam, and if you pass, or there's other ways that they decide on applicants or individuals for positions that they hold. But most jobs do require an interview, especially when we're working with the public, maybe answering phones or different skills. The majority of jobs will require a formal interview. They want to get to know you. And remember, when we're interviewing, it's also an opportunity for us to get to know them as well. So the purpose of the interview, right? The job interview. They want to get to know the applicant. Would this person fit here with us? Do they have what it takes? You also want to get to know that agency. Would I fit here? When I was at the hospital, we would interview medical students for residency positions. And there was this applicant, this doctor, because he was about to graduate from medical school, so they're doctors, that had never made a B his entire life. He had made a straight A's all through, we had high school, we had college. He had never had a B. So wow, on paper, fabulous, right? But when he came to interview with us, he did not match. He did not fit. He was not a good fit for our program. So again, remember, when you're going for an interview, don't worry about the application. They looked at your application and liked you enough. They liked what they saw on paper enough to invite you to interview. So now you want to focus on the interview. You want to focus on the interview. You want to show that what you shared on that application is who you are. You're better. You want to remember that you're the cat's meow. You're like, hey, me, right? I want you to pick me. So again, you want to put your best foot forward and make the best impression possible. So you want to demonstrate that you are the right candidate for them. So again, don't worry. Oh my gosh, I don't know, that nervousness. Remember, they liked you enough to offer you that interview. Now it's all about putting your best foot forward. You want to make a good impression. You want to show them that you can do the job, that you are the right candidate for that job. So, interviews are conducted one-to-one, online, phone, panel, sequential. Again, going back to when we interviewed at the hospital, when that person came to interview with us, they would have at least 6 different individual interviews that they were going to do. And then with the panel, they would also interview. So know that it may be one-to-one, it may be with a group, but be confident that you are the right person for the job. You have to believe that so it can come across. If you are nervous, and we all get nervous. We all get nervous. It's a new place that we're going to. We may not know very much about it, that kind of thing. So it helps to be prepared, like I said. And then remembering that you may not know the job, but you know you. You know you, and you know what you can do, what you're capable of doing. So that's what you want to promote. That's what you want to bring forward. That's what you want them to see about you. So I want to spend a little time on this slide, how you are rated during an interview. This is very important. Attitude, 40% of that interview is attitude. So if you go there going, "Oh, I know they're not going to pick me. I already know they're not going to pick me. I don't know. Oh my God. Of course, they're not going to pick you. Absolutely not going to pick you because of the attitude of you feel inferior or insecure, that kind of thing. But if you go with the attitude of, hey, why not me? I'm the right person for this job. Appearance, we dress the part, dressing the part, right? You want to go in with confidence. Doesn't mean that you want to go in arrogantly, right? But with confidence that you're the right person for the job. You sit upright. It's a good handshake. If I was in a room with you guys, I would want to shake several of your hands because I want to feel a strong handshake. COVID is pretty much done, so you don't have to worry about the germ. Put, Germex or whatever after, but none of this. Oh, hi. No, a good handshake, confidence, showing confidence. So appearance, look at appearance. 25% of our appearance is what's rated during the interview. So attitude, 40%. The attitude, how we go in there. We're prepared, we're ready, we got our chongo or hair straight, that kind of thing, or hair straightened, whatever the case may be. We are putting on the best foot forward that we can, the best appearance that we can. The attitude is good. Communication, how we communicate. Hey man, how's it going? What's up? No, we want to communicate. Hi, my name is Belinda Flores, that kind of thing. The communication, we want to be prepared. We've done our research of about the company, right? And so we're prepared for questions. We're prepared to answer questions because they're going to ask you questions during the interview. So be prepared. Be prepared with how we're going to communicate those answers with a positive, that sometimes, we're going to get interviewed by individuals that may come across very strong, right? May come across kind of wow, it's a little stressful here, feel a little hot, but be prepared with, be confident with your answers. And again, there's always a way to win that individual over, for them to see us in this, bright light, in this great light or whatever. So maybe they come at us kind of, strong. We just answer. We're honest. That's a great question. And we answer the question. So communication, 25% of, were rated during an interview of how we communicate. Look at the very bottom of this pie chart. Just 10% for our job qualifications. 10% is the only is rated for, are we able to do this job? Because if you are able, if you have somebody, if you're able to hire somebody with the right attitude, with the right, I'm willing to learn. This job I haven't done. They're honest, their communication. I'm being honest. I have not done this job, but I've done something similar. This is my experience. I know I am a fast learner. I will give it 110%. This positive attitude, the job qualification is just 10%. That's good to keep in mind, because remember, we can pretty much teach anything to anyone. If you do things long enough, you start doing it. Think about if you're in a job right now, think about your job when you first started, and how you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to be able to learn any of this. This is so much paperwork, or whatever the case may be. But now that you've been doing it, you're like, oh my goodness, I can do this in my sleep, right? Because we become familiar, it becomes part of our routine, it becomes the day-to-day of what we do. So being qualified for a job, we can doesn't necessarily have to be very high, because we can teach someone how to do the job. But we need individuals that want to do the job, that they show that they have passion. They have passion. When it comes to community health workers, we want community health workers that care about the community, that want to help, that talk about, I've not been a community health worker before, but I have volunteered here. I have helped different organizations. I help at my church. I've helped at my school, that have been working in the community. So again, not so much about, are they capable of doing this job, but they see the attitude of wanting to help, of wanting to better our community, of wanting to see equity for everyone. That attitude of service comes through that individual. I guarantee they're going to really look at that person and say, you know what, we can teach this person how to do this job. So again, looking at the pie chart, 40% during an interview is attitude, 25% appearance. We got there early, we're prepared, we've been able to sit out and just, I'm ready, and we're communicating effectively, not only answering questions, but asking questions as well. We have that rapport with that individual or with that group. And then the qualifications are way at the bottom, just 10%, because that organization will see, or that individual will see, that this person really wants this job. This person really wants to help. This person really wants to make a difference. And so it comes through during the interview. So again, preparing for the interview, you have to understand the role of the person. I am the applicant, so I'm, wanting to put my best foot forward. I want to be chosen for the job. The person doing the questioning or representing the agency or organization is the interviewer that is going to ask the questions, hoping to hire someone. So we want to practice questions. We want to practice questions. The greatest thing now is our phone and the internet, right? We can Google questions, questions during an interview. So, you know, they're going to say, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. This is a common question that you're going to be asked. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me why you're qualified for this job. You know, these kinds of things. You know, they're always going to ask you, what are your strengths? But also be prepared, because you know they're going to ask you, what is your weakness? And so for weakness, you could say, I've never done this job. I've never worked for this organization, but you spin that. I've never worked for this organization before, but I've done this type of work. You know, this is my experience. This is, you know, I am willing to learn, you know. So you want to spin, when you address your weakness, you also have a spin for the strength that you have to meet that weakness. You know, I've this type of job I've never done, but I'm willing to learn. I'm a fast learner. I'm willing to give it 110%. So again, you anticipate questions and you're prepared. You're prepared to answer different questions that that you've researched already, that you know are typical questions during an interview. Also, you want to do your research, again, going back to your phone, to the internet, to Google. You want to research the company. If you're going to go work for a company, and you already know, you know, they do this type of work, this is who they are, this is who their CEO is, these are the type of people that they employ. Do your research, learn about the company, and then bring that up. Well, I see that y'all have done this type of work. I see that this is what you do. I'm very interested in that work. So again, you've done your research. You're able to communicate the interest that you have about that organization, about that company, about that agency. So you show interest. You show how you know about them. I don't know if you've ever watched that movie about what is it called? It's about a girl, I have it at the tip of my tongue, about a girl that's applying for a job in um the um models, and you know, that industry or whatever, where fashion industry, and she's only worked for a newspaper, and she comes and is applying for that job, and I think it's
Devil
American
Wears
Top
Prada.
Model.
what is it?
Devil Wears Prada.
Yes, Devil Wears Prada. Thank you. And she tells her, and up until now, you have never heard about me. No. Why would she not do her research, right? Why had she not looked up that modeling agency, or that it was a magazine, that magazine, right? Before. So again, do your research. It makes a difference. Again, if you notice on this slide, arrive early, at least 15 minutes. Don't run through the door all sweaty. I'm so sorry. I'm running behind. You know, I'm so nervous. Don't put any of those negative statements out there. Arrive early. Never say you're nervous. Compose yourself. If you arrive early, maybe where's the restroom, you know, and go and compose yourself, you know, spend a little time with yourself, and then be ready. Project a sense of calm and poise, right? Watch your body language, you know, not looking at your watch and like, I gotta go, woman, you know, or man, whatever the case may be, right? No, your body language should be attentive. You know, it's not the time to see what's going on Facebook or TikTok, right? But be attentive, be enthusiastic, be confident. Walk in, smile, shake hands, turn off your phone before you get in there or silence it. Maintain eye contact, sit upright. You know, if you really want this job, be prepared. The other thing is, you may want to go, if you've never interviewed before, you may want to do trial interviews, right? Apply for other jobs that are maybe similar, that maybe you're not that interested in, but maybe have a little interest, and apply for those so that you can practice, or do a practice interview with a friend or with a colleague, or things like that, you know, that maybe you've worked with in the past. But do a practice interview. You want to be ready for that job you really, really want. If you really want that job, be prepared, be prepared. So again, uh, show confidence, not arrogance, but confidence. You want to be assertive. You want, remember there's a difference between arrogant and assertiveness, right? So, or aggressiveness and assertiveness. We want to be assertive. We want to use the I believe I would be great for this job, and this is why. So again, want to show, watch our body language, that we're enthusiastic, we're confident, and that we're the right person for the job. So again, continuing on how to prepare for an interview, you use appropriate vocabulary. You don't want to use many times acronyms or anything. Well, I've worked for this, whatever, CHW. I've been a community health worker before. I worked for DSHS, Department of Human State, whatever the acronym is. Or so again, using appropriate vocabulary. You want to dress professional. You want to dress the part, making sure that, we take out our iron or at least throw it in the dryer to where our dress is not wrinkled and people aren't looking at your shirt like, oh my gosh, they cheated before they came here. So again, dressing professional. You talk about your experience. You talk about your credentials. You talk about how well you've accomplished tasks, because they may tell you, well, let me give you the scenario. How would you handle this scenario? And so you're honest, you talk about that. I've had a situation or I've had a task like that before. I've been on a project before where I've had to make sure that we completed a project by this time, things like that. So again, you want to talk about those things that you have done well, those things that you have excelled in, talking about a past experience that has worked out well for you, those kinds of things. So what you want to do is you want to say why you're qualified for that job. And again, perhaps you haven't done that specific job, but you've done something similar. And so you want to make sure that the skills that you have match up to what they are looking for. You want to talk about your strengths. I'm very punctual. I stay on task. I do not procrastinate, that kind of thing. You want to bring these things up. Again, your weaknesses, if they ask you for one, you want to say, one of my weaknesses is that I'm not sure, what I would be required at this job, but I know I can achieve it because if it's my understanding what you're looking for is this type of person to do this job, I am qualified because of this. And you start listing what those strengths are, how the skills that you have are related to what they are looking for, and that you're able to master those tasks that they want to be done. So, I will be here on time. I'm a fast learner. I will give 110%. I enjoy reading. Maybe you talk about what type of learner you are. You can say, I'm a visual learner. So if you give me the handbook, I will go through it and I will read all about, the roles and responsibilities, that kind of thing. Or if you're an auditory learner, I see that you have different videos. I will listen to them, that kind of thing. So again, you want to really emphasize what your strengths are. You want to talk about how you relate to people. I've been working with different organizations or in the past. I am a people person. I love being able to help individuals. This is what I have done. Now, if they ask you, why are you qualified for this job? What makes you qualified for this job? And you say, well, I love people. Well, that's not good enough. What are you going to say? I hate people? No, right? So you want to say, I love people, and this is why. In the past, I've been able to be a resource to these individuals because of this. So you want to add to that. You want to show how you relate to people, how you've helped them in the past. And you also want to talk about why you want this job. I want this job because I'm from here. I'm from this community. I want to be able to help the community members here, so I want this job because I think that I would be a good resource to them. I would be a good resource to you, this kind of thing. So you want to talk about why this job is important. And you also want to talk about why them hiring you is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. I am the right person for this job. And you want to emphasize why that you want to plead your case, if you will, why you would be that right person for that job. So again, first impressions make really, really, really just make it or break it. It's a make it or break it kind of deal. First impressions, you're going to get this one shot, this first interview. Maybe there's going to be a series of interviews, but this is the first interview. Or if this is the only interview, this is a make it or break it deal. So you want to really make a great impression. You want to stand out in a group, if you will, because there's many organizations that hire just one or two people for, and many people are applying for that job. So why you? Why should they hire you? You want to stand out in that group. So again, your appearance, your expression, your behavior, your posture, everything should be positive. You should ooze positive, right? Positivism, is that a word? So a bright smile, that handshake, you want to dress professional, that eye contact is very important. This could be the only chance you get to get this job. So again, remember, you don't have to be nervous about the application. They've liked you enough to invite you to the interview. It's all about the interview. You want to sell yourself. You want them to pick you. And again, you have to have that confidence. I can do this. I am the best person for this job. And if you believe that, then it comes across that that you are. So again, if you're like, no, well, they're not going to pick me. I don't think you've got to take away that negativity, spin it to positive for yourself so that you can come across that I'm positive. I know I can do this job. Again, you may have never done this type of job before, but if you're willing to learn, the agencies, organizations are willing to teach you, but you've got to have that attitude. You've got to have that attitude, that positive attitude. I am the best person for the job. If you give me the opportunity, I will not let you down. You will not be disappointed. So those first impressions is a make it or break it deal. So again, be on time, be on your best behavior, put your best foot forward, and know that why not you? Why not you? So again, dressing the part. You've got to dress the part. Again, it doesn't have to be, a three-piece suit or anything like that, but you want to, your pants, your slacks want to be pressed, want to be, ready, your shirt, and the way we come in also very confident, never arrogant, but confident that we are the best person for this job. We want to be honest. Also, during the interview, they'll ask you, are there any questions for us? Have questions ready. Have some questions ready. Show that you're interested. No, I don't think so. I'm okay. No, you want to ask some questions again. So yes, I do have a question. So is this the only area that you have this organization, or are there other areas in the city, or, do you serve everywhere? So you want to have questions ready. Do your research about that organization, about that company, and then have questions ready because they will ask you, any questions for us? Yes, I was wondering, these kinds of things. So be ready. It shows that you've done your research. It shows that you're interested in the organization, in the company. And it shows that, hey, you know what? Yes, I want to be part of this, because once that they answer, you're like, great, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I think this is a great fit for me. Because remember, the interview, they're interviewing you to see if you fit for them, but this is also your opportunity to interview them and say, yes, I would want to be part of this organization. I think I would fit here. I think I could make a difference here. Or you go in and you're like, oh no, I would never make, I would not fit here. This is not the type of work that I would want to do, or this is not the type of agency that I would want to work for. That gives you that opportunity. And then you thank them. Thank you so much for the opportunity. But now you know, gosh, I really loved it, or I don't think that's the type of work I want to do. So again, the interview is not only for them about you, but it's for you about them. Wow, this is somewhere I'd like to work, or not quite the fit for me. So again, dress the part, be confident, be ready, put your best foot forward, and show them, wow them, that you are the best person for the job. Any comments or questions at this point? Tips, any tips from someone?
I got a question.
Sure.
When it came to the part where you said your weakness, and you said to spend it, pretty much focus on the strength. Don't reveal any. Like, for example, would it be wrong to say, well, my weakness is perhaps if my work is done and I see my teammates still working and need help, I can go and help. Could it be that type of, I'm just trying to figure out if you spin it the other way. That's if you could make that a little bit clear for me, I didn't really get
Sure. So I think one of the weaknesses that we all will have is going to be that we don't know what exactly they're going to want us to do, right? We may have an idea, it's a secretarial job, but not sure what exactly, or let's say it's community health worker, because we are all community health workers. So let me use that.
Okay.
So it's a job that they're hiring a community health worker. Well, there's many community health workers. There's navigators, there's people that work for insurance agencies that want to promote their insurance companies. There's people that work, CHWs that work at hospitals. There's CHWs that work out in the community. So your strength would be, your weakness would be, well, I'm a community health worker and I've done community health work, but not for this organization. So your weakness is, I've not been part of this organization or worked for this type of organization, but I know that, so that would be your weakness. I'm not familiar with the community health workers, what they do at your organization,
Gotcha.
but I have done community health worker work, so that
Gotcha.
would,
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
That makes it clear. Thank you.
Sure. Any other
I
questions?
have a question, Bill.
Yes, Jessica?
Hi, how are you doing? So I'm living in Del Rio. This is my community. I love it. I'm so happy to be here now. There are no jobs here for community health worker yet. I've been reaching out to people, meeting people and stuff, and being real proactive and volunteering and stuff for different organizations. I went and put an application in. I think it's almost 3 weeks now, 2 weeks now, with Judge Owens, and filled it out and everything. And then it's for an advocate position, and so the next day I was like, it's such a small town. I reached out to all my friends, and everyone's like, oh, he's a great guy and everything. So I researched and everything. So the next day I went back in and knocked on the door, and I spoke to his receptionist, or his secretary, his personal person there. And I told her I'd put an application in upstairs, and I said, is there any way I could speak to the judge? She said, no, I'm sorry. We're right about to go into court. I said, okay. And then I don't know what else I said to her, but she said, you know what? Let me see what I could do. Oh my God, how awesome is that, right? So I said, okay. She said, go have a seat. I went and had a seat, and then he came back. 20 minutes later, he came to the door and said, hey, come on in. We talked. It was so amazing. He said he was going to go back upstairs later on that day or later on that week, get the rest of the applications and blah blah blah. And so I'm just so I'm anxious in a good way. So I was like, okay, calm down. So then last week I called the HR department and they said he hasn't looked at the applications yet, or he hasn't brought them back up. And I said, okay, and they're real short with me and everything. And I understand I'm not the only person in the world, right? It's not all about me. What do you recommend I do now? I so desperately want to go back up there, but I'm like, I can't do that. I don't think I could do that. Can I? So that's it.
So I think what I would do is if you have an email, I would send an email. I think emails are a good way to communicate. Hi, I just checking on my application. I really am interested in this job. I visited with the judge, that kind of thing. And I think I would,
Okay.
be a great candidate. So maybe following up with an email would be good. It's not, I think showing up, you're right. You're gonna be like, oh, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
give it a little bit, right?
Okay.
Checking on my application,
Okay.
or when you do call, the other thing you can say is, would you mind if I call maybe in a week, or would it be okay if I just follow up? Ask for permission, that kind of
Okay.
asking for
Yeah.
permission and not really asking for permission, right? But you're like, would it be
Yeah.
okay if
Yeah.
I call you back in a few days, or maybe Monday if it's, during the week, maybe next Monday, that kind of thing. So just, making
Okay.
sure that,
Awesome.
yeah, that kind of thing.
I'll do that. Those actually sound great. Okay. Thank you, Val. It's so good to see you.
Sure. Good to see you too, Jessica. Good luck.
Thank you so
Anything else?
much.
I think another good thing to point out with Jessica's comment is she said, there's no jobs for community health workers, but then she found a job where the skills of community health workers is applicable. So it's not always going to be, your
The
job search
title.
for the community health worker job. So I think you need to look for those job application or those job postings that would really benefit from the skills of a community health worker.
Absolutely. And that I thank you, Shay, for making that comment, because that's what I was going to tell Jessica, that maybe the title is not community health worker, right? But the work that you're doing is that of a community health worker. The advocacy, like you were saying, maybe the navigation, things, the communication skills you can use, that kind of thing. I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you guys. But I like the discussion, but I want to be able to see everyone. So thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Look for those jobs where you can, those, we went through all the different skills, communication, teaching, advocacy. If you can use those skills, then you are prepared. You can apply for that job.
Maybe time for one more question or comment.
Hello,
Yes.
I got one. Oh,
I have a question. This is Julia.
Go ahead, Julia.
Yes, I was wondering, because I've noticed a lot when I go to job interviews, that a lot of people are always on their phone. So when they call them to the back, sometimes they hesitate, to actually go. So so when you start talking to people there, and they're like, I'm so nervous or something, how do you tell them, like, just don't be on your phone or calm down or something like that? So how would you approach them so that they could have a better interview as well, or a good interview?
So, and you're one of the applicants too for applying for the job, Julia?
Well, it would be more like in a different position, so it's not like the same, like they're going for the same job, but they're doing something, but they always come up to me and they tell me, well, I'm applying for this job, so which one are you? And usually I'll just tell them, well, I'm applying for this one. But I can see all the time they're always on their phone and they're always so nervous. But how do you tell them, like, okay, just calm down, relax, and try not to
So I
panic?
think you put it on you, right? You put it back on you, Julia, and you're like, what helps me is that I try to put my phone away and not, try to start thinking about maybe if whatever helps you, praying in your head or thinking positive thoughts, or maybe humming a a song in your head, whatever helps you, but you put it on you and not necessarily, well, if you didn't use your phone or what, you just use it on you. This is what helps me type of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bernice, did you have a question?
I just wanted to comment,
Go
commend
for it.
you guys. You did this thing, this training with enthusiasm. I appreciate that. I wrote down some points that you did. It was just amazing. Thank you all for this training. What an imprint you did for me. You did it with enthusiasm. It was exciting. You made me saw myself sitting on the other end, what to do, what not to do. Wasn't boring. It was very energetic, and I appreciate that. Just wanted you to know that.
Thank you so much, Bernice. I really appreciate it. I love my job.
Yeah.
I told my mom just yesterday. I told my mom just yesterday, Belle. I said, I can't wait. She's the best teacher. You are an amazing woman. I'm serious, Belle. Thank you for
Thank
everything.
you, Jessica.
Thank you all.
Oh wow, what a good way to end. Ruth, I would love to end like that, but Ruth, your hand is up, so go for it.
Yes, good morning. I don't know if you can see me or not. I'm in a very, very messy room. I have a lot of stuff here. I don't know if you can see me. But I have a question. So I have been working with the North Side as an AI. An AI is a basically instructional assistant with special needs students. And I find myself loving what I do. I just cannot afford the job because they don't pay a lot. How, and the question that I put on there was, how can I advocate for a better salary and get credit for being a community health worker in that area?
So, Ruth, I would bring that up. I would be honest. I would be honest and say, I love it here. I would love to stay here. I want to grow here. I want to grow what we are doing here. But I'm wondering if there's a way to get a pay increase because, I can't afford, I would be very honest. I can't afford to continue, though I would love to, but I think with time, I would have to look for something different. So I would be honest because Ruth, if you love it there, I can guarantee they love you. They love having you there.
They do.
So you would want to be honest and say, I don't know if there's room for a pay increase or if this is going to come with time or, but I'd like to discuss my salary. I would just be honest.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
And I'll add to that if it's okay, Belle, is make it about your strengths.
Yes.
Don't come in with the complaint that you're not making enough money, but talk about the time that you've been there and what you've contributed. I do think it's important to mention that you're considering other options because of the position you're in, and that's very fair. But yeah, add in some of your strengths that you bring to the organization.
I agree.
All right. Thank you so much, Belle. And thank you everyone for
Perfect. Thank you,
attending.
thank you, thank you.
So I put 3 links in the chat box. The first one is to the CEU survey. And so this is if you are a certified CHW, you can get your hour credit for communication skills. Next, okay, yeah, we're in June now. So next month, July 18th, we're gonna have Dr. Mary Lou Vasquez. She's with TEFI. And she is gonna be talking about networking skills for CHWs. So networking skills are relevant to finding that perfect job. Jessica's already done some networking where she was making herself known in that job setting. But networking is also important for the workforce and knowing what resources are in the community and available. And just so building those connections is an essential skill as a CHW. And so Mary Lou is going to come and talk about networking skills. And then I don't have a slide for this, but I'm really excited. So the consortium or the collaborative that Belle and I are a part of, we've developed 7 public health modules that are relevant for CHW training, and we are going to deliver them one at a time starting in August. So I hope that you can come to all 7 in a row, and there'll be registration links in the future. But for now, link in the chat box and this QR code to register for the July 18th webinar on networking skills. And then finally, we have about 100 or so people who've signed up so far, but if you haven't signed up for our professional development and job listserv, what I do is if I get an email about a job in a certain area or another professional development opportunity, I look at who's completed that survey and I send it out. So thank you all. I will stop recording.